Okay, we're back. Tech packs are due the early morning hours, Pacific time. Skippy's lunch. We got.
We're here.
We're here.
We're here.
Yeah. So, I think right off the bat, we got to say thank you for 500 followers. Halfway to 1,000. So, like, for me, that's the big goals. Like, can we hit that 1,000 mark? Is there 1,000 people out there who want to listen to some lo-fi footwear talk? But I think it's real and it's working. I'm out here. I think we're trying to really change how people get educated on footwear, design, sketching, all that good stuff. Illustrator, trying to change the game, and enjoying it while we do it. So hey, thanks everybody for, man. When I don't know, when I did my first video, I thought I'm stepping out into this like this ocean that is YouTube. So had no idea what to expect. But here we are. And also kind of a side note, Robin's episode is doing very well on Spotify, which I don't really check. Like, just
Nice.
I put it out there because Spotify is free to host, and I just say I check it like once. Whenever I post the next episode, I'll check it out and be like, "Oh, wait, we got 2 comments. Like, what is going on? Like what's happening?" But YouTube, I'm checking. I'm like every day, like trying to figure that one out because I think that's the model we wanna attack it. But anyway, 500, we're there. So as always, it's me, Jake, Skippy out there on the East Coast. We are here. Today is a day I just need to get through it, and
Hey, it's a special day.
been saying I'm gonna do it, and now I'm gonna do it. So we're gonna look at my portfolio today, which I haven't really changed that much in a couple years. It's just it's like a rolling portfolio, but I don't change it that much. But and maybe that says something. Maybe I should be trying to update it, but maybe I shouldn't have said that. Like,
I'll be here I'll be the judge of that one here.
Yeah, future employers are looking on and saying, "Oh man, he doesn't update his portfolio. Get rid of that guy." But man, I don't know. This stuff is so silly sometimes. The things people say, right? Like in design, and I think we feel that, I think sometimes you just like want to update your portfolio to like feel like you've come a certain amount of ways, like as time passes and you're growing, you want to change it up a little bit. But also, we all know that it's like not fun. Like it's not you almost wish people could do it for you. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. So, I don't know. Maybe Skippy maybe you like to update your portfolio. Maybe you like.
I still have pages on my website where like it's in between the change from my new website to my old website.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like it's a drag, You gotta make sure everything is concise, and it's just like, well, are people gonna click that older project?
Are they gonna make it that far?
So I try to make sure at least the top 3 are like, well, at least the top 6. I don't know, whatever's up there. Make sure all that stuff's good. And it's like, it's all the stuff at the bottom. It's like, yeah.
Like, wait, you made it that far? But I did. So one thing that's fun about like the Adobe portfolios is you can like, well, I mean, probably any website at all, really. I think, if you have the domain, you can like link Google Analytics.
Hmm.
And I was able to like watch like what pages people would click, and I'd be like, why are they clicking that thing? Like, what? And I guess like if you're asking that question, like you probably should just delete the page, like, like, because but I don't know. Some of it I really like. I'm proud of. It's funny, like people be like, oh, like what shoe? Like you'll interview, and they'll be like, "What's your least favorite thing you've ever?" Like, "What's your least favorite thing?" And you're like, "Well, I like all my work." like, do I hate any of this? Like, no. Like,
Yeah.
why? Why would I show? I don't know. And there's nothing that I can point to where I don't like it. Like, I, I don't know. I'm proud of the stuff I put out
Yeah. Yeah.
and the growth, and I mean, I've tried really hard to present it in a way that I think is, good and concise and all the things you just said. I don't use a lot of words.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll see that as we go through. I don't like to I don't like to talk about a lot because I just think footwear is so visual. Like I feel like you should just get it. Um, so you know, unless it's a bio and it's all words. But all
Speaking on
right,
those analytics, for you speaking on analytics,
yeah.
I have Squarespace, and then like I used to, I don't know if they still do it, but when I used to look at my analytics, and I seen like people all the way in Russia looking at my work, and I'm like, they're confused at the time, but like I'm sure maybe they were like looking at it, but I was just like, you're all the way out there.
Yeah, I had the same thing. Like there were people in like I want to say like Croatia. And there was like a couple Egypts popped up, and I just thought like I was like maybe people are just like maybe there's like people traveling or something, or because footwear is big, and then you'll see like I said, it'll be like Cairo, and you'll be like, well, like okay, and but you just think like, well, maybe the team is expansive, and like, oh, we're thinking about bringing this person on, so they're sipping the portfolio all over the world. It's like kind of because you'll see like Amsterdam, and I'll be like, like or like Ireland, and you'll be like, what in the world? Like, how is this happening? Like,
Yep.
um, I don't know. You just think that's what I imagine. It's like no one's hacking me, or no one's just like typing random portfolio websites.
Yeah.
like,
Has to be a
uh,
purpose, you know.
has to be. I don't know. And then this day and age of Instagram's worldwide. I don't know. I don't even know like who's following me. I'll see people follow me, and I'm like, well, whatever. Glad to have you.
Yep.
like,
Yep.
oh, dude, and I didn't. Oh man, maybe I've said this on the show before, but when I first started posting on Instagram, like this is way back, like 10 years ago, when I was trying to get in, and I was just like making random stuff, trying to impress Johnny, who was at Reebok, and I just like send him stuff like, "What do you think about this?" And he would send me his Illustrator line art and stuff, and like, "Oh, this is how I do, like how I do things," and I would see his stuff. I made just like a couple quick like Illustrator renders of like shoes, like just trying to iterate. And fast forward like 2 or 3 years later, or 4 years later, I'm at Brooks, and I'm like flipping through a materials book,
Hmm.
and they had like used my illustration as like a background, like literally like
Ooh.
copy pasted my like my shoes and like put them in like I was like, hey guys, this is me. like, and I was like pulled out my phone. I'm like, this is my thing. Look, here it is. Like posted in 2021. Like, or well, man, it was probably 2017, 18. But it's just funny to see something that I thought was like awful. Just like show up in a materials book. I was like, this is Should have kept it. Should have been like, can I have this? Like,
Dude, that's why I stopped caring about my sketches because I'm always like so critical of myself. I'm like, does this look good? And
yeah,
people like after talking to you, like your website is amazing, and I'm like,
yeah.
does it?
Hey,
Is it,
well,
Jake?
I told you, you're um, oh man, uh, okay, so I've got to allow it to share. I've got to allow it to share my. Oh, come on. I've got to allow it to share my screen.
Mm.
Wait, really? Okay, okay. Come on, thing. All right. Let me try this. Why is it not? Okay. Allow. Thank you. All right, let's we can keep talking for a second.
Hmm.
Um yeah, no, I think your well, when I saw your website for the first time, I thought like, yo, this is dope. Like like cuz like I think you're just like there's a graphic um that I don't I feel like I have good
Hmm.
kind of good graphic design skills, but I'm more of like an artist. So it's like
Yeah, yeah.
I was trying to plug into like a system that already works and like um anyway, let's and so I'll kind of talk about that, but all right, Skippy, can you see my screen?
I see it.
So I when I was trying to do the portfolio, like when I was trying to get my second footwear job, like I was at Brooks. I was like, is this it? Is this all I want to do?
Hmm.
Do I want to try different brands? Do I want to like look into what it's like elsewhere? I was having a good time. Brooks is great. I was like, but I kind of had that itch. Like, I don't know. No shade, but like, I think a lot of us get into footwear thinking like we want to go to Nike, we want to go to Adidas, we want to hit the big brand, we want to do the real thing. Um, so I like started trying to figure out how to present my stuff, like, and it was the more I did it, the more I was like PDF like just doesn't like it's so restrictive and like I've got to like
Hmm.
really lay out my pages really nice. And I was like, man, I think I should try this website thing. And so I just um I use the Adobe thing because it's like pretty easy to just like pick a theme and just kind of make your stuff. And there's ways to like personalize it. So like the way I've personalized mine, I like looked at like other portfolios like on Adobe and I was like, okay, I want to copy that. I don't want that. And like there's like really cool things that you can do to like kind of make it your own. Um and I just wanted to make it my own. So um yeah, so I used to have like an animation here and I also thought that that was cool. Like I wanted like PDFs like some of them move. I don't know how people do that. Like, you get like put like GIFs and PDFs now, but
Yeah.
um, I just felt like that was like another bridge too far. Like, I don't want to Google like how to get animation, which now is like there's AI and probably not
Hmm.
too hard to figure out how to put a GIF in a PDF. But um, so I had an animation here. It was like kind of whimsical, and I was like really into Blender, like trying to animate in Blender and show that I could animate in Blender, which is I don't know if it's like necessarily a skill.
Hey,
Like,
man, 3D work is 3D work.
yeah, well, that's true. Like, I was like, hey, I took the Blender donut thing. Like, I ran
Yep.
through that tutorial. It was a great time. It was long. It was many days. Um, I did it in between like Brooks, like projects, like whatever. And I did it, and so it's like I want to show that I can use this program, like in a fun way. And so I had this animation, and maybe I'll post it sometime or show it or whatever. But um, it had a story. It was like story driven, and then I was like, actually, you know what? Like now that I'm like kind of senior level, like I don't know if it's like necessarily like senior feeling to have like this funny animation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, not that you can't be funny. I love humor, so I don't want to not like show that as part of who I am. Um, because I think a lot of people in this industry like take it way too seriously, and hence why I've started this podcast, because I feel like it's just like trying to shine a light on all this junk.
Mm-hmm.
Um, anyway, uh, yeah. Well, so this week though, it's kind of funny. I presented like I did like kind of a like not a job fair, like a career fair kind of presentation um to some like young men at our church.
Nice.
You know who I followed? Dude, this is who I followed.
Who'd
A
you follow?
medical examiner who does like autopsies.
Okay.
And I got up and I was like, "Hey,
I got shoes.
I design shoes." Like I was like, "Let me tell you something. If you boys, there's a lot of them. I was like, look, if any of you boys are feeling that, you know, if you're feeling like, you know, medical school, you know, biochem classes, you know, engineering, whatever, all that stuff, like anatomy, physiology, doctorate degrees. If any of you are
Mm-hmm.
feeling that, like go that way. Like like if you're feeling that right now, like take that direction. I was like, cuz let me tell you something. My salary tops out at about where she starts. Like,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
so if you're feeling that, like, like, do that. That was kind of my like intro in the footwear. Oh man,
Jake, you're not selling us. You're not selling us well enough.
yeah. I was like, hey, now look, like none of this that I'm doing is that serious. Like she's trying to determine the cause of death. Like I'm trying to make this shoe look good for the 15th season. Like I'm like like okay. Uh just it was a nice perspective of like there are bigger things happening than shoes.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
and it definitely like if you're feeling like, you know, if you want that not a you know that deep of a career like in terms of like I can't imagine like the headspace that you have to be able to like control to be dealing with the dead every day. You know, like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's whew, uh I mean to be able you have to separate yourself a little bit. I don't know how you do that. So we're not doing that. We're doing this. And so yeah, so that's kind of a fun segue. It again, like that's how I feel like footwear should be, right? Like we're talking about shoes and style, you know, generally things that make, you know, people happy and, you know, give you a break from life, you know, and
Yeah. Yeah.
in the yeah, in that serious, not serious note, like about this job is like at the same time, I feel like people get so into it that they're not willing to, you know, extend grace, you know, when sketches or whatever doesn't look 100%, you know, or, you know, like they're not willing, you know, because it's a business or we gotta like, oh, and you
Yeah.
feel all that stuff. And I think we all want to do a good job. No one's out there trying to like slack because this is like part of our, it's just like obviously the career you chose. So it's like, um, no one's out there trying to be like, not do a good job and slack off. It's like you get
Mm-hmm.
all that, but at the same time, like life is life. This job is not. Like I had to tell all the kids, like, look, like I took nothing in high school, like worth anything. I
Mm-hmm.
got straight A's because I took like the bare minimum, like, and I just cruised, like, and then that bit me in the butt when I left high school and then realized, oh, no college wants me because I didn't do, you know,
Yeah.
coursework that proves my ability to do this. I did the coursework that probably proved my ability to go, you know, operate machinery. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I was like, you don't realize that when you're a kid. You just want to like, I didn't want to work really hard. I just didn't want to, I just felt like this is not, I don't know. A lot of ways it's good because like, I don't think you have to be deep into math and science to be a footwear designer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you have to. I think you have to care. Um, but anyway, man, we're 21 minutes in, and I just ranted about dead bodies and whatever and whatnot.
Well,
So
speaking on like, well, wait, this is good though. No, speaking
yeah,
on like the burnout, like I looked at an interview with Dwayne, the pencil guy,
yeah,
and he was saying like, how do you, you know, he was just saying like, you work hard at these companies, and then the drawing and doing this thing is supposed to be like you're relaxing.
yeah,
This is what you do to relax, and then that was like a stressor, and it like kind of burns you out. And it's like, how do you find that balance of like doing something
yeah,
you love, and then also like not burning out over it because this is supposed to be something that makes you happy. And
yeah.
I always thought that was like mind blowing. Like, yeah, you gotta find that balance. You can't just keep cranking, and then you're like, dang, I don't want to do this anymore.
Oh, Skippy. It's
We're
like
here. We're here.
it's like, do we want to get to the portfolio? Um, yeah, it is that way. I think that it's like they say, you hear the adage, like, do something you love, right? You hear that adage all the time. Like, if you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life, right?
Yeah.
Um, that I have not found that to be true. Like, uh, and because like, I've learned over time that footwear is a pretty hard because people are picky about their footwear,
Yeah.
and people in footwear are picky about footwear. And then you got people who get to a certain place, and I hope this is dying, but then they have this ego of like, I know what good shoes should look like, and then so you got that layer added on. And I don't think that exists necessarily in other parts of industrial design, except for like, I'm going to say automotive might be in that vein, and some furniture I think might be in that vein of like,
Yeah.
you have people who feel like they know proportion and material and have a vision for it or whatever. And maybe that's true. Like, because where we've come as an industry is like, we have a lot more people who want to be footwear designers. You're probably going to wash out like who are the geniuses of the field versus people who just want to be here because they love it. And maybe they're not very good.
Yeah.
Um, and it's fine to have all of those people. It's hard to like, I don't know, it's hard to place that and hard to weed through that. And because it's now become just like a big job. Like,
Yeah.
so, oh man, It's
Sorry to make it long winded, but
yeah, you
I'm
get
enjoying our
into like
conversation here.
you get into the not like it's like the human resources of the subject, because what's funny too is like it's a creative field,
Yeah.
and maybe I'm just saying all this to avoid doing my portfolio, but
Hey, you gotta do
it's I'll put a time marker on here that'll say like, hey,
it.
check out my portfolio now. um but it's like people outside of this thing, like we have designers and design minds, but like outside of us, like this world, people are mathematicians, analytics, um uh I was going to say human resources, but then you have that side of like benefits, you have
Yeah.
business people, you have all of this stuff. And I think we look at our job as like this like super creative, like fun thing, but then you're like, well, at the same time, like no one understands that who doesn't
Yeah.
go through it every day. And no one understands what this job feels like unless you're in it. And there's never going to be a time where, you know, Sarah from HR is going to be in this field long enough to understand what it feels like to be. And I think I've met some people, like some, but like I know an engineer who does like semiconductors,
Yep.
like out here in Washington, and does not get it. Like thinks this job is like the dumbest thing of all time. And and what's cool about that though is if you were then to go to industrial design and design for that person, his taste and his it's a lot easier to design for him. Like so easy. And so like just me, like I've having freelanced over the last like few years, like bringing on different clients, I have realized that footwear is like the toughest. If you want to like be pushed in like to the edge of what you think you can create, of like how many times can you just like keep sketching and people say it's not good enough, or like keep sketching and people say well blah, 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 like it is so fierce. And
Yep.
I just don't know if, like Dwayne's saying, like, this is for relaxation, but it's like when you mix that into a job, it turns into a job. Like I think the job part of it just eats it no matter what. Because the only time I've found time to enjoy sketching, enjoy it, is like at night now when no one's around and I'm not getting watched and I can just
Yep.
free sketch and stuff. And freelance work has been, I mean, way more enjoyable because again, I'm putting out like me at my level now. When I show someone who does not design or has no, like, it does not sit next to it every day, when I show them my stuff, it's like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. You're like, thank you. You're like, yeah, thanks. Yeah, I can design. Cool. Uh,
It's
it's
always fun when
different
like you
than,
show somebody that
yeah.
your work, and it's like, let's go with the first round, and I'm like, well, we could maybe keep going here. We could push it a little more, but they're like, nah, this is good. This is good.
Yeah. I'm doing a freelance job right now that's pretty graphic design based, and um it's like I can't miss. It's like Jordan at the line right now. It's like Steph Curry at the line, 95% all lifer, like
Mm-hmm.
that's how it feels right now, which is great. I think you need that because if you work too much for these guys that, are never satisfied, you're gonna hate life, question
Yeah.
yourself. And anyway, so yeah, when you present your stuff to me, like I see your website, I'm like, bro, this is sick. What are you talking about, man? You're crazy. I wish I could do graphics like that. All right, time marker on 30 minutes. We'll just hit a hot 30 right now,
There we go.
and the next 30 can be a portfolio review of my stuff. um yeah, so let's rock it. Let's
I'm
rock it.
excited to see this because I've never seen. I've only seen what you posted on Instagram, and
That's right.
this is your baby here. So we'll see how it
Yeah.
goes.
It's kind of a history book. So I intentionally do not show this. And if anyone asks for links, I will say no. So the reason why I feel like I need to do that is because I feel like there's got to be some part of me that is not visible to everyone. Um, and I feel like people get enough of me on this podcast and on Instagram. And if you don't know my work, then um, I don't know. What is this going to do to like make it?
Yeah,
There's a lot of this I have posted in like little snippets. Um, but with portfolios. So I would say the reason why I have this masthead at the start, and you'll see like as I scroll, like my stuff will kind of overshadow it. The reason I feel like I do this is because I want like the intro to be like this personality. I feel like I need to have this jump off. Um, and I see this all the time. Like I feel like people try to make like standard industrial design or standard portfolios or try to wash it and make it like really professional. And I just feel like the more I talk to people in interviews and whatever, like usually because a portfolio, that's what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to get a job. I want people to at least have some inclination of things I like, who I am. Um, and I don't know why. Maybe that's selfish of me to like try to throw myself onto somebody. But I want them to be able to understand like what my passions are quickly, and not like smash them over the face with it. Good metaphor for this is like Harry Potter 1 through 3. Those movies, like they were very in your face with the magic, like Wingardium Leviosa. You know, it's like boom, and it's like magic, and this and this and this. And then like directors switched, I think, in 3 and 4 and whatever, and like different types. And those directors that came in put magic in the background, like they would be having a conversation and someone would be like walking by like floating something or changing something into something else, and like so it wasn't like in your face. I feel like at some point in your portfolio, like you've got to come through, and maybe you don't have to hit any people over the head, but you've got to show like your unique edge, because what you have is unique. I've talked about it in the podcast. I think everyone should go listen to Johnny and I talk about this. Like, is your unique point of view, is it um a unique hiring point? And like, is it or is it not? I tend to believe that it is. Like, is at some point you need to have foundational skills and you be able to show that you know how to like divide space and know what that means and all this stuff. But for me, I feel like I want people to know that I like graffiti and street art, and that influences me and how I design. I also feel like I've always looked at my initials since I was a kid and drawn them over and over and over. Um, in graffiti styles, bubble letters. I
yep,
used to draw it on my desk at school. I used to, uh, whatever. And now I'm just like, now I have a new tool. I have Procreate, and I'm like, oh, dude, how can I tag stuff and make it look cool in Procreate? And you got all these brushes, splatters, and all this stuff, and I'm like, oh man, I can actually look like a nice graffiti artist. Um, anyway, so I actually might. I'm like looking at stuff in the garage, and I'm looking at stuff. I see like a memorabilia box that I have over there, and I see some of my tagged. Like I went to like a ceramic place with some friends in college, and just like tagged my name like all over the a cup, and then I see a little journal that I had. and on my mission when I served it, and it's got just like tags all over it that I did in whiteout, and I just like tagged the heck out of this journal. And it was suede. It was kind of funny. Like it's like a
Oh,
suede like covered journal, and I just like put whiteout all over it, which is like kind of a cool graffiti thing. But and then I used to grab like scrap wood from my dad, and I would paint it out in the back. I'd buy paint from Lowe's, and I would just like tag it. So I just use these things to communicate like my fine arts background,
hmm
um, and that's kind of how I see the world. I think it's still hard for me today to design necessarily, because I feel like design and art are so different in terms of how you have to like design something for a purpose, whereas art you can just kind of be expressive. It doesn't have to be a reason for like all these dots that are spray dots. There doesn't have to be a reason other than its composition and it looks good.
yeah.
um so I love putting my personality out there. Okay, so now I scroll down, and I think first thing people see is I got some work. Like, done a lot of work at Brooks. I got a lot of projects, and I just kind of add new ones on and just keep the archive, just keep it live. And um, you can see some of the stuff Skippy and I worked on um, with the Zellerfeld, but you know, I love Viscom, so there's going to be a whole Viscom spread. I'm working on that. Um, so this is like more of my recent stuff at the top. Kind of what we talked about is like trying to keep the recent stuff, the recent stuff. And what I wanted to do was like people would always ask me like, when do you work on this? And so it's nice for me to have like a scroll over and have it say like, this is a new upper and a new tooling. This is a new upper and a new tooling. This is new upper. Like, so
mm.
people can just like see immediately, okay, this is a new upper. I'm gonna expect to see an upper on this page. Oh, if I want to see his tooling work, I'll just roll over here and see tooling work. And at the time, little things. I really thought it was cool when you went to like Travis Scott's, the like stuff would cross out when you scrolled over it.
Mm. Yeah,
And so I did
keeping it
like Travis
interactive.
Scott, like, yeah, like, so just little things again to make it your own. And so anytime you roll over my stuff, it turns red and it like strikes out. Um, I just think that's fun. Um, and I'm still trying to figure out how to turn this into a signature, because I want it to be a signature, but for whatever reason, I haven't figured that one out yet, but I've seen it, but I can't figure it out. Um,
Cool.
and then, so yeah, you can kind of just like, you know, new upper, new tooling, new upper, new tooling, and just scroll to see what you want. What I want to start is not at the top, because I feel like if you're watching our show, you are probably just starting out, or maybe you're senior or whatever. So I want to start by showing a project that was not actually didn't release, but I think is really cool in showing my process. This is a Transmit 4 that did not come out. Um, but what I think is cool is I think it shows a good sense of foundational skills. Um, I always shout out the people that worked on it. So Chelsea is my buddy, and Taylor's my buddy. Like, we worked on this together. We while I was doing most of the grunt work, I would say, they were there with me, trying to get it done, push across the line, and sympathize um, as well. Um, and then I start with like the muse of the season, the seasonal direction, because I just think it had like an interesting kind of followed this artist who does like these spray things. Like, I don't know how he does any of this, but you can watch his stuff. But then we made a brush There's a good graphic designer at our thing who made this brush, and you could take the brush and then apply it onto the shoe. I guess his name is Thomas Trum. Good for Thomas, right? You can look him up on Instagram. He's got cool stuff, but he uses these unique sprays and does them in interesting ways, and in some sense designed, right? Because it's controlled. It's not just kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Different colors, all that cool stuff. All right, so I was trying to ideate based on his gestures, and I think this is a good page for if you want to show like a breadth of work. I find it good to just like go small to large, or um show blocking potential. um Things that you don't like, make them small. Things you do like in the season, make them bigger. um I always think it's kind of nice to have like color direction as well, if that's a part, like, because it is a major part. We tried to only sketch in the colors of the season. And so like you try to do that to kind of bring your team along, say like, okay, well, we're going to design this shoe, but this is how the color team might use it. And then, color team gives you percentages or dosage of color and how you're going to like apply it. And so I don't know. I think this is just like a good layout. Like it's not too many shoes. It's obviously considered. I'm not blowing you away with like 1,000 concepts, and then I'm leading your eye towards like a final big one. Even though
Yeah.
I liked a lot of these, because again, I like my work. I don't,
Oh,
whatever.
were these all made in like Photoshop, Autodesk,
Ooh, you know what?
or
These are all
Wacom
Procreates.
Cintiq?
Yeah, no, we've finally moved into uh we moved into the iPad at this point. I
Okay.
do have a project I'll show that was back before Procreate, which is like
Mm-hmm.
wild to think about. Um and But yeah, what I would do though is I think something that makes a sketch, at least like when you're designing shoes at a good running company, if you're just doing the upper and you're pulling a previous tooling forward, I like to make a template off of the existing tooling, because that's like a lot of the guesswork's gone, right? And then you have the tooling, the actual size, the actual shape, where you can be like, okay, how can I reimagine this thing for another season that is interesting and maybe applies the new graphic guy or whatever. And you can, yeah, move it forward. So I would make, basically, you can see like at the left side there's like a couple that show the actual template that I had made, and then
Mm-hmm.
that's the template that I just kind of like built everything off of. um and again, like you can see also like how crisp to the template I'm trying to stay as well, because like think about your audience, like the people you're trying to get like this across to. You don't want to like, you want it to be clear, and like I'm trying to do this construction, this color here, stitch and turn, TPU overlay. Like you want it to be like really clear. And I can show other work too that's like not super clear, but then I slowly hone it in
Mm-hmm.
as we go. I think all of it kind of works, but you just got to like make sure you're talking to the right people, and saying the things. Um, but yeah, I did make a template, and I grabbed the tooling again to kind of take out some of that proportionality that I had to work. You have to have that. Yeah, so really enjoyed these sketches, and I've always loved this little page because I think it's just a good, if you're a beginning designer, here's some space, here's giving your sketches space, Here's giving the color thing some space, and just letting it all have its nice, calm little area. Shout out to Rudy Solano because his work has always had that. And I was like, how can I do my own spin on the Solano style? And he grabbed that style from probably some Nike person that he saw. Like he was always looking at portfolios. So then you show like the actual technical rendering of the shoe. And then show immediately for me, it was like just show how it translated to the shell, which is the flat pattern of the shoe. Show, how all of this works and that you can translate a design to a material. And then how that material starts to translate is like I spec'd all the layers, boom, boom, boom. I'm using the Thomas brush. You can see that clearly. And I modified it quite a bit because this is in the minutia, but the spacing that they needed in between the lines needed to be adjusted based on the process. So the brush was like one thing, but then if you take it into this process of printing, you need to have like enough space in between the lines. Like it couldn't go below some point millimeter, whatever, probably like 0.5 or 1 or something. So I had to like literally go into all of these
Space
little,
each one.
yeah, dude, it sucked. But that's the work, right? That's the stuff that we don't talk about too much, and then how that wraps on the shell, and then it ends up looking pretty cool.
It's pretty
So
dope.
this got cut. One of the reasons it got cut was funny, and I'll never forget this. Is like, hey, this looks a little too good. Like they were like, hey, it's like we're going for $100 here, or less. Like this is looking a little too, 110, 120. Like we gotta pull this back. But you know what? I liked it. And then I think
I
they
feel like it could have sold pretty
eventually,
good.
yeah, I feel like eventually they cut it, but it got made first round, and I just think it's great. And um, you know, I'm okay when shoes get cut because it is what it is. And you do your best work regardless. But I thought this was like a really good usage of the brush, good usage of the inspiration, and then the shoe I think represents like our seasonal language pretty well, and looks quick. It's like one thing to have that seasonal inspiration, but like, can you make it look like a running shoe? Is like a whole nother situation. But I don't know. Good. It was a fun project and a good team. So, and I think it's one of those things where also it is a good indication of where you should be if like you're a footwear one, and how clean it should all just like boom, boom, boom. Um, sketch turns into shoe. Yada yada. You with me?
I'm with you. It's pretty cool.
Okay. Let's go. All right. Let's do my next one that I love to show. So new upper only. My first project of all time. I mean, technically speaking, oh my gosh, I don't have my first shoe up here. Wow. Well, that might need to change. That's wild. I don't have my first shoe on here. So my first shoe ever was the Brooks Ricochet. Obviously not on here. That is mind blowing. Well, okay. So I don't even know my own portfolio, but at the same time I was working in conjunction with the Levitate 2. Levitate 2 I'm a little more proud of because it is like kind of a franchise name that got synonymous with Brooks. So I love it. One thing I think that people don't know that you should know is when you work for a brand, and you make shoes and all this stuff, of course they've got to market it and sell it. So they just put it on a bunch of people and like take cool pictures, and then you get access to those pictures, and you just kind of credit the brand for the pictures and stuff like that. And you're not trying to use it for like, promotional purposes, so it's not a big deal. Um, so you just like jump in and you can like grab these awesome high quality shots of your picture, of your shoe. So I did that. And you do it for every, it's like an industry thing. Like it's not a big deal. So Levitate 2, worked on some, with amazing people. These guys are like the best of the best, at Brooks. And
Nice.
so it was like really fun to be this, but this is marker rendering, guys. Take you back to
Ooh,
a time.
this is fun.
I'm gonna take you back to a time when we so the what was fun about this is when it started, the project started, we were like, here's the color palette for this season. And so we went out to like a bookstore, or like a, like a, it was not like a Joann's or like a Hobby Lobby. It was like an art store in Seattle, and we bought out the orange markers for the season because we were doing like, everyone was doing this orange color. So we like, everyone had it. And so we could all like draw on the orange. So I loved it. I love orange. This was in like the Lunar Epic days also, where like knit was like all the rage. And so, and I was young, man. I was a young designer coming in on this stuff. So I was like all in on trend, and like what was happening at that moment was like knit collars, high ankle, and like everyone was like, dude, there is no way we are going to do a Lunar Epic style levitate. So cool, but no. And like Brooks hadn't tapped into that flat knit yet. It was all circular, so couldn't go up
Mm-hmm.
the couldn't go up the ankle anyway. It just was not a thing. Um, so yeah. And so again, like I'm brought in as like the fine artist, right? And I'm trying to think of the story. And I didn't know this at the time. Like coming into Brooks, I didn't know how much story mattered. And I was like, for me, it was just like, this shoe's called a levitate, and I was like, oh man, levitating is so cool. Like, why don't we just focus on levitation, like levitating stuff, and like David Blaine, and like, why don't we just focus on like levitation? And so I was like trying to work on that through whatever the graphic was, or like, can we pick things up? And eventually landed on, and I need to get a better picture of this, of like Goku, because I was an anime inspired young guy. I could draw like Vegeta from memory. Um, and Goku's a little harder, but Vegeta had the spiky hair. Like I always thought like, oh, Goku's legit. And the Spirit Bomb thing when I was a kid was like the story of the whole show. Like
Mm-hmm.
also because they hadn't like translated all of Dragon Ball Z like into English yet. And so you would get to Frieza and then it would like start over. And like he goes Super Saiyan, kills Frieza, gets the end of the saga, and then you'd find
Yep.
yourself back at like the early days of Dragon Ball Z, like the first episodes, and then we'd all like lose it because we knew we'd have to go through like 500 more episodes to get back to where we were.
Mm-hmm.
Um so I just thought of like him in the Spirit Bomb, and like how that like was just like levitating above the ground for the longest time. Um, and so I just thought like, if we're gonna levitate something, like levitate the color, um, so that like never touched the ground. It always was above the bite line. Which maybe it's not like the coolest story of all time, but it's what I did. Like so, maybe it's
Yeah.
not that novel, but it is like, I think, kind of telling the story of like something's always sitting above the ground. It's always levitating. It's always moving forward. And then how do you do that then, and then give it some speed or give it some um, engineering to make it look like a running shoe? And so, spoiler alert, I did go back and redo this. My original sketch was not like the best, I'd say, like first year. So I had to go back and add some spice to the final rendering. And so yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. Again, the color is always levitating. You have these like call outs for like running, like mud guard and heel counter, but then
Hmm.
the center block is like always above the ground, which I thought was cool. And then um, you have all of these comments and you have all this stuff, and like I love this because this shell was like sitting on my desk. I'd drawn it, printed it, and I came back and like people had written all over this stuff, and I was so young, like I didn't think anything of this. I was like, oh, that's cool, man, thanks. Like, and then I do the next one, and and then do the next one, and then we like really started to get somewhere with this final. um and this is literally like what I sent off, like, Levitate 2, 2017, 9 years old. um this is older than my son.
Crazy.
uh But yeah, so like this is like how technical it gets. You have to be really good at Illustrator. You have to really like know what you're doing. Um and and this is it. I mean, that was what built the shoe. And then a brilliant person in Asia, a technician, will take this and put it into the flatnet, kind of spec it out. And that's what turns into this. Again, it's levitating color. I love this colorway because it's like, for me, it's like the Namek Goku on Namek about to
Hmm.
throw the spirit bomb down colorway. Like, and it was like, it just worked to pop, and like how they faded the color and like how the technicians got it all like, to just be dithered and digestible. I mean, man, I wish I still had. I have a couple of these, but I wish I had more of them because I think they worked for style, and they like they took the first levitate, like first levitate was very engineered and very like, geometric, and this was very much like, in the time I was looking at the Yeezy 350 V2, and I was
Hmm.
like, I'm gonna have a shoe in parallel with that shoe. And so I was looking at like how we draw color over top of texture, and like how sometimes texture doesn't really matter, like color can just run into it and run through it, and so you get like the hint of the breathability. It's not like in your face, it's just kind of like shows up. um anyway, and then you get all fun things of like people sharing water bottles with your shoe on. I just noticed this when I presented to those kids. I was like, oh man, that's like a bunch of ladies just like kicking it on some steps, sharing a water bottle. Like, do we share? Like, who's on a run just being like, yo, let me get a.
Hey, it was 2017. Post COVID, nobody's sharing water bottles.
Yeah, hey, can I get a swig, man? I forgot mine. Like, oh man. But I thought this colorway was dope, the pink and mint. um I was like, color, man, color can turn some stuff. And then the other fun thing is you get to see like, billboard like graphics and animations and stuff like that, which is cool. And AMP was it. It was like the competitor to Ultra Boost. It was like Brooks like foray into knit and all that stuff. And man, it's like my favorite. I just, it was a good time because I just was that new designer, fresh energy. It's like, and it worked out. Thank goodness it worked out because led to some other great opportunities. But
Yeah.
Levitate 2.
And the one thing I really love about like seeing like your process
Yeah.
is like, you see all these marker renders and it's like, wow. And then you see your pullovers and you're like, wow, it's just like crazy.
Thank you.
And and then like I feel like now more running shoes are starting to do like this gradient uppers.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're coming back. I don't know. I've been seeing that like around all these different products and it's kind of cool.
Yeah. The There's a New Balance one that's like I'm thinking of, but I don't know the name of it. The
The
but
clip.
again, like if I'm doing like I'm thinking about this, like this is all on a like 8.5 by 11 like pieces of paper, right? So I brought them in, dialed them up, got the contrast like really popped, like got it really like tried to make it look as orange as possible because when you scan them in, like it'd wash it out a little bit.
Yeah.
So like yeah, I brought it into Photoshop a little bit and kind of like popped it, but I wanted to keep it looking like a marker and not like um, you know, not drawn in a program. So like yeah, some of this catches a little bit of that. Like I think I put a little too much on this guy. Um in the midsole with the marker, like the it doesn't look like a marker anymore. But again, like I read it like I think you would read a book, right? Like you start here and then you just like move left to right and then you
Yeah.
find your way down to the bottom where there's all this stuff. And so yeah, I mean it's yeah, like again
It
and then
shows your
just grabbing
exploration.
the again it goes to the biggest, it's like the biggest thing like I
Yep.
saw these, I jumped off and I did this and like got to the biggest possible thing and then you take that to the final.
Yep.
Anyway, so that's that.
And you're true. You're a man of no words.
Yeah, man, there's
You know?
nothing. I just feel like you should just see it. Like it tells a story. I feel like it should tell it on its own and really like levitate the color. That's like the end of it, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
do I need to say anything else? Like, um, I would hope that would translate. Um, and then let's just do uh I guess Ghost Max is a good fully um, upper and tooling. So this is my easily most successful shoe at Brooks. We called it. It was called it Big Kush. Um, oh man, that's a funny callback. But Big Kush, man. I mean, everyone was getting like Hoka was coming on the scene hot. I don't think everyone just saw them like periphery, like oh they're over here, like doing their trail running stuff and we didn't realize how fast they were catching on and then before we know it like they're front and center um and the Clifton is just like a baller, right? And so
Hmm.
but when I came on this project it was actually to do like a shoe that was not the Ghost Max. It was to do a shoe that was more walking focused. And we were kind of like anyway, I don't want to get too like deep into that, but I do want to say I approach this shoe as like, and you want to do this. I think the mindset of any shoe is like when you get handed a project, I think you can like say like, oh man, like they're gonna hand me the one that's going to the podiatry conference. Like I've got to go, you know, look at people who have arthritis, like you can get into that, and then like get really discouraged and think, well, I can't deliver something beautiful because I have to like, cater to,
Certain
someone who's
demographic.
not using, yeah, like they're not using this for running. And
Yeah.
like, oh, so that means it's got to be slower and like, oh, it's got to look, over supportive and blah, 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 blah. And you can get bogged down. Like if you get the wrong project, you can think like, oh, the brand doesn't like me and blah blah blah. But
Hmm.
like, mindset's everything. And so I just was in there thinking like, I don't care. Like if you're gonna hand me this project, like I'm gonna make it the best looking shoe possible
Hmm.
and like make it hard for you to deny it. Like um a walking shoe for me, like I don't think it deserves any less of a spot on Brooks's website than the glycerin and the ghosts. Like for me, it was like, well, why would I intentionally design something to sit at the bottom of the page? Like I'm not going to
Yeah.
do that. And so I attacked it with like, the fervor of like, I'm trying to make this look better than everything else. Um, or like as good as, you know, this awesome designer working on the Ghost. I want to be doing this. So originally it's not spec'd out to be the Ghost Max. It's another shoe.
Hmm.
Um, but as we get into it, you know, and then I had the PLM on the project was very aspirational too. She's like, look, maybe this shoe is for walking and we have to go to this conference and we have to talk to these doctors and we have to talk to these like vendors about how they, you know, use this shoe in their sales in their stores. But every shoe at Brooks should be a running shoe at heart. And she was very aspirational. And I think that also pushed the project to another level because like if anyone on the team is not into that mindset that I was in, like it could just drag the whole thing down. And also the developer at the time was like kind of fresh and he was like, look, dude, like let's do whatever. Like let's just kill it. Um and so we were just like, you know what? Like, nah, let's go nuts. Um and then I like to put this so when I was you know, you gotta just gonna I put this on here because when you get into a brand, like there's people of all expertise levels like all over the place, right?
Hmm.
um and you get to know them, especially these small brands. Like you can befriend them, you can find out what their interests are, you can be nice to them, you can take them out to lunch, you know, you can do all this stuff because you now have access, you're inside the organization. And I got to be really good friends with Carson Caprara, and him and I just like vibed. We were on one or two projects together. He was a very smart thinker. He did a lot of cool stuff. Now he's like even VP level. I don't even know where he's at. He's up there. Very good at selling product. He's awesome. He's like the Brooks guy. Very good talker. Very good. Love that guy. Miss him. He's cool. Um,
Get him on the show.
so we say what? Like,
It's like get him on the show.
yeah, you know, he might. You know, if we get 1,000 followers, if we get into the 10, 15K, we'll have some big dogs on. Uh, that's for sure. He can be number one. But uh, so that said, you could talk to the guy in merchandising and be like, "Hey, dude, how's my shoe doing? Like, can we go walk and talk and like, how's sales, you know, rolling?" And you hear rumblings, like you'll hear like if a shoe's doing well, like you'll hear like, you know, oh man, this thing's doing great. Oh, this thing's doing great. Um, and so I went to one of the merchandising guys and said, "Hey, like, how's this shoe doing?" And they had this big meeting about this exact shoe and this sales thing. And he goes, "Man, it's crazy." He's like, "This thing cracked the top 10 of all shoes for like 2 weeks." And the top 10 of all shoes, not just like, not running, we're talking all of them. And so he's like, dude, it was sitting next to the Air Force One. And
That's crazy.
I was like, shut your mouth. And so I was like, you know, and you don't know what that means, like in context. And so I was like, well, maybe I'll just like go ask Carson like how he's feeling about it. And he looked at me, he's like, oh, dude, this is a top 5 Brooks shoe of all time. He's like, this is like, he's like, it's not, it's just done. So it's done enough for the brand that we can like enter a whole new space and say that we can do it and do it well. And so it's like all these people, so like biomechanics and PLM and um but when we started this project, it did not have that. It was not gonna. It was the trajectory was not to hit top 5 Brooks shoe of all time, to say the least.
Yeah.
Um, so I snapped that because uh, you know, it's a big moment for myself and for that team, and um, I'm never gonna forget that. So again, Run Easy was the solution. It was a solution product. And so we just wanted people to be able to go get their easy miles in and get it done. So here's my fancy Nike renderings. Because hey, we can do it too. If we're at Brooks, we don't have to. We can do fancy Nike stuff.
Got some 3/4
Um,
views there.
yeah, like we can make it look cool. Like like I remember seeing like Lunar Epic, not Lunar Epic. Oh man, the what was when they first debuted React? It was like the Nike React something something, and and they had like whoever designed that had all these cool like renderings, and I was like, you know what, man, I'm gonna React Nike React my ghosts, and so that's my wife's ankle. Um,
There you go.
she's she's doing the things to give me the pictures so I could like render it out. And yeah, I'm an artist, man, artist at heart. So I'm gonna like paint this stuff and make it look as dope as possible. And try to sell it. So run easy. Again, I'm telling you, it makes such a big difference to take seasonal inspiration or any inspiration and how you translate that into a product is like the story for me. A lot of the stories baked in because of those seasonal language moments. But this whole thing was about the transfer of motion, and you can
Hmm.
kind of see this in the artists that we were grabbing. It's very like motion transfer. Um, the run is repetitive and repetitive motion. And again, you see the same story. Um, very rough, and then more refined and more refined. And again, adding some color graphic is always fun. This doesn't mean anything. Like, I don't know what any of that meant. Uh, but at the time, we also were developing a shoe called the Aurora. And so I was grabbing inspiration from some of that shoe too. Um, and taking some of my innovation time expressions into here. But yeah, you can see I was pushed a lot of this project too. I was pushed to be like, well, we're trying to do high volume of this, so only render it in black. Like only put it in black because we just want to
Hmm.
see how the color hits black. And I'm like, dang, man, like you guys killing me with this. So I would just try to use black in these pops of color as full expressions as possible. And then I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna do all orange. Like
Yeah.
it's like you can't box me in. Uh anyway. Uh but my final renders, I was pushing uh this off-white color. Um and again, so it got bigger. And then these are my presentation rendering uh, of the
And these
shoe.
are
And
all Illustrator. These look
so
tight.
this is Illustrator. Yeah. So I put all this into Illustrator, except, and then I would take it into Photoshop and touch it up. So like the
Yeah.
drop
Yeah.
shadow and all that stuff. Like I learned later in life how to do this with Illustrator, but I mean, I was not going to take the time to like do that like when I was younger. But yeah, so all of this is like mostly Illustrator, a little bit of touch up in Photoshop. I remember presenting this out and we were like, yo, we love this, shoe, we think it's awesome, please pick this concept, please. And we do not want to do any other of the concepts, we want to do this one, so please pick it, please. And then we just like we signed off on that because it was this was COVID time, so I'm presenting this to like silence, right? You're not getting a lot of feedback.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, and we wanted to do all these like touch points, like that kind of flushed out in some of the ideation. Like we wanted our IRO to be like fun and like have these touch points of like TPU mold, silicon mold, uh and like have this stuff like be fun if you're going to be a high stack shoe or whatever, or a more stack shoe. It wasn't like super high. But anyway, I don't know. It was taking a shot, and then again, I just take it through like, so I made this graphic by hand, um, basically so that the technicians would know that this is how I wanted my shoe to look. Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want it to. I want you to do it exactly like this. And I even spec'd out like reference measurements and stuff. I did a lot of this like on vacation in Florida, which is kind of fun. Uh, and then tooling came back. I thought everything was looking good. Um, just in terms of like first shot, but it wasn't until I got these like in hand where I was like, um, I remember calling up the developer because there was no one in the office, right? They said samples showed up, like go when you can, like go in the office and check them out. Um, we're all at home, and I was like, um, dude, have you seen these? I was like, this is fire, man. I was like, and essentially, like I looked at these and I told the PLM, I was like, hey, if you guys want this shoe, I think if we want this shoe to like go crazy and you want it to like really hit, we got to change the name. Like we cannot go in with this name.
Mm-hmm.
And so before I knew it, we had put it on I don't have the screenshot, but before I knew it, we'd put like I'd drawn one on a whiteboard in the office, and I like drew it and like, oh, I think we should do this thing and do this thing and add this and add this. And someone had come in, circled it, and wrote Ghost Max over the top. And I was like, that's a great name. That's a great name. So someone got the message and changed it from being this walking shoe update to the Ghost Max. And the rest is kind of history. My wife has the only sample of these ever.
Crazy.
And she wears them all the time. I might need to, I clean them every once in a while because it's like, but like color took a shot. Like these like 4 colors is like usually a bit much for Brooks. So they cut that colorway, but this
Mm.
like powdery with this, you know, with the pink and with the tan is like
Is that
super legit.
reflective
So
too?
do what?
Is that reflective? Like the logo and then the eye stay?
No, there's no reflective, but
Oh, it looks reflective.
there's a gloss print on the logo, so it will like catch light. Um, but essentially, I liked this colorway so much that like all my revisions, all my stuff, I like drew this colorway, like because I thought it was just like a notch above everything else. Anyway, and then here's my words. This is what marketing $1. If you get a shoe that's dope, marketing one like takes it away and makes some good stuff. So maybe I'll show this video sometime. But if you've followed the Ghost Max, you kind of know what it looks like. But then they take like all this cool marketing pictures of you, and um,
This one.
you know, it's like pick this. This is the one. None of this happened in this office, but they like just put a bunch of these shoes down and said, "Hey, we're gonna take some pictures of the team. Spread out your sketches." And then then you just grab some colorways that you like, and you know, put those. Hey, are you back there? She's kind of looking. She's looking
Yep.
like, hey, you still running? You still running with me? But like again, it became like not. This is not a walking shoe anymore. This is a
Mm-hmm.
run. This is your easy day mileage shoe. And man, it was well received. Like everyone, I mean, it was great. But I will tell you, and since this will be the last one because we got to wrap it up, but I will tell you that this shoe, our team fought for everything on this thing. As good as it looks, like to me and to whoever, we had to fight for the heel counter to be like the way it looks. We had to fight
Mm-hmm.
for these pill shapes Like this one up here, everyone wanted to cut it off. Like everyone was like, why is that there? Doesn't mean anything. Um, when I got to Brooks, like after about 2 years, I was very like into my brutalist like thing where like architecturally I was like, oh man, like I love brutalist architecture. I love like
Mm-hmm.
being very uh blunt with like stuff. And so they always talk about release grooves and release grooves and release grooves. And I'm like, what if I just like make it look like it was just CNC'd out of the side of the shoe? Like just paint it,
Mm-hmm.
and then you could see the release, like when you land that whole part like crumples, and you could like, oh, it's a release groove because someone like literally like dremeled a release groove out of a shoe. uh oh man. And so that kind of that language did carry through to some other models, funny enough.
Yeah.
Um but like every point of these, like this silicone eye stay, we had to like fight for that. The TPU mold, like things that you think you wouldn't have to like go to bat for, people would be like, man, do you really need this on a running shoe? Do you really need this? Like, is this in the flex zone? Is it going to make flexing weird? And
Mm-hmm.
um I had we're going out for wear tests, and we were sending all these shoes out, especially the pink one, which I'll just put back on the screen because I love it. This shoe got sent out to a bunch of people, and they were taking it out for runs. And one of the wear testers was the wife of the developer that was on this shoe.
Mm.
And he said they were going out for a drive, and she had her feet up on the dashboard, and he like looked over, and she was just playing with like the silicon mold. It was just kind of like playing with it and just like touching the IRO pieces that were like gave it depth. And he was like, what do you think about those? And she was like, I like it. Like, because at the time, like, as far as I know, and maybe I'm making the wrong statement here, but Brooks had not done any like 3-dimensional pieces
Mm-hmm.
like on a shoe. And so it was like green pasture. I was like, oh, cool. Like, no one's ever done this before. Like, let's blow it out. And then I was like, well, if you think about like max, like what does it mean for a shoe to be a max thing? Like, what takes it to the next level? And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, depth, texture, dimension. Like, that's takes something to the next level. Like, because it's literally coming off the surface. There's so max volume. It's like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
oozing out of the shoe. Like, um, anyway, so
It's beyond flat
yeah,
TPUs.
yeah, it's not flat. It's dimensionality makes it max, takes it into
Yeah.
the next realm of design for Brooks. So, whew, where are we at on time? I don't even know.
So.
But yeah, and so if you were to jump into any of these projects, you'd see the same level of like infused, like for me, it's all about art and um the functionality for me is always kind of secondary because I'm trying to like get an emotion across. And so will say that in my career I have struggled with functionality, like, and it's been something I've had to learn. And but what I've been successful at is driving at a look, um, getting a look and feel in a direction that makes sense, and that um, you know is something fresh. That's like kind of what I'm good at, is like looking at the precedent and like how do we like push it forward.
Mm-hmm.
And so like quickly then on the Ghost Max 2, because we just did the Ghost Max, it was a rushed project, but I just thought, how do we like up level what we've already done? And for me, that was always like doing double of the first one. And so I grabbed those like grooves that I felt like I had like done and turned it into a big giant channel that like transferred the motion. So we were rushing it. We were trying to be real fast with it, but like at the same time, I was like, well, how can I just like double it up? And so literally, I was doubling up everything.
Hmm.
Now the function of this shoe did not like hit like super well, but as terms of like what I was trying to achieve, like,
It worked
uh,
out.
yeah, it worked out pretty well. Like what I'm trying to drive at, like, and I was trying to say like, okay, well, we have this heel piece. What do we do to make it start looking lighter and eventually go away? And in next iterations, like, how do we, take what we've done before and start to make it a little more lightweight and start to like push, that direction. And mold stuff, but then mold it a little more considered. But yeah, so I tried to make it start to look more lighter weight because I think the first one looked lightweight, but it was like really techy. This one I was like trying to get a little more artistic and flowy. Um, and then that just like, gives you ground for the next one. But I thought it was great. And then what I need to get on this one is that this was put on the feet of Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
For his big recovery post his accident. And that's another thing that I feel like doesn't get talked about enough, is like you do these shoes, you do these things, and then you you never know where it's gonna go. You just like do the best job, and then these brands have like infinite reach. And so these shoes are on like Good Morning America and like all kinds of crazy stuff. Um, anyway, so that's my portfolio in terms of like the professional product. I will do an about page. I think I've always been like whatever about putting your
Look
face
at that.
out
Look at
there
that
or
guy.
like cheesing, because I feel like some people like, but again, like if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it in a way that's me, and it's not what other people do. Um, and so I'm in a hoodie, cheesing, at my desk with, you know, iPad and all this stuff, TPD's blaring in the background. And then I'm gonna run it like a AA meeting where it's like, because I, again, it's like subtle, but it's like I like to laugh, and so I'm gonna tell the story as if it's like, a stand-up bit. Like I'm always thinking of like, yeah, I have this weird passion for shoes. It's kind of odd. Um, and then yeah, you got the set. You're on set here. The resume is resume. Boom, boom. Just try to make it clean. And then I do like a inspiration page where I try to like put stuff that I've worked on over the years. Um, I call it 10,000 hours because they always say that like
Yeah.
you gotta have 10,000 hours to be an expert. And a lot of ways that's true, but it's also kind of a silly thing to say. And so I just put a bunch of stuff that I think is cool. Um, 3D work, anything that I just think is fun. Like Odell Beckham wearing my shoe was like super crazy. Crazy enough that I bought those Oakleys because I wanted to be like him.
That's crazy.
Uh, yeah, it's like you just never know what you're gonna do and where it's gonna land. But anyway, I like to have a place where people can just like where I can just put stuff that I'm interested in.
Hmm.
Like I think that's like another aspect where like you're not you're not locked into like portfolio pages. You can just do whatever you want. Like if you like taking pictures of dogs or something, or you have a photography thing, like make a photography page. Like I don't care. Like, and then if you're gonna do it, make it high quality, of course. Like don't
Hmm.
put whatever you're snapping up there, but like make it considered, and you're always curating. You're always like there's a lot of sketches for the Ghost Max that didn't make it. There's a lot of sketches for like the Beast, Cascadia, all this stuff that didn't make it, but you put the stuff up there that you feel like is the best work, and then you just let it. And I don't subscribe. And here I'll stop sharing so we can just finish it out. um I don't subscribe to the thought of like have some projects that aren't super good, or or whatever, like show maybe it's not your best work, but whatever, like, or like only show product shots in this one and show the whole process in this one or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
With the day and age of the internet and scrolling and how fast that is, unless like, yeah, if you're doing a PDF, maybe you want to like give people some air, if they go in deep into a project and then maybe they just want to see pictures or whatever. But on these where people are guiding themselves, they're clicking on pages. Um, dude, who cares? Post the whole thing, post the whole project.
Hmm.
Like make it whatever you want. Like
Show
don't
us how
hold
you got from there to there. You know.
yeah, like don't hold back. Like like, and I think in footwear, like a lot of people want to see the sketch. Like the technical side is fun and shows you can, ship the product eventually, but I think we can teach the technical side.
Yeah.
Like it's the expression that I feel like is the thing. So I don't know. It's been a while since I've done an introspective thing.
Now, that was
Probably
good though.
since yeah, man, thanks. Probably since I did my story, which I need to refilm. We need to do some more of that. Uh our next guest who's going to be coming on, he's got a musical background, and we'll finally get to talk about my love interest of drumming and
Ooh.
such. So I'm sure that's going to come up, but yeah, like portfolios, man. The I would say like if you're trying to get started and you're like PDFs are whack, I would highly advise trying to do a portfolio website because it's just so much easier. Just collage stuff and you can arrange it, and it was very much like pop pop pop, like, and it was good. So if you're feeling like you don't know how to figure it out, I would highly suggest like you know get into a more creative, make it more creative on a website and a brand yourself. I've seen some pretty crazy websites, that's for sure. Like, I mean, I could point everyone to a couple, but maybe, oh man, maybe that'd be
I,
another guest I could have on. There's a guy who has a really awesome um, website portfolio that's like super interactive, and I'm like, I don't even know how he did this thing, but it's it shows again, it's his personality and it's his thing, and you do what you can, right?
yeah. And
I don't know.
I've seen people do things on Behance too that are pretty wild, and I'm like, yeah, even though Behance is kind of like flat, but it's still
Yeah,
it's wild stuff.
yeah. Like you just kind of own it, right? Like
Hmm.
it's a tool, and I think designers can do anything, right? Um, you can take the constraints and figure out how to work within them. I don't know. Do you got any questions, Skippy? You got anything
No,
as we
you
looked at any of
definitely
that stuff?
you knocked that out of the park, and it shows your process, showed the growth, and
Yeah.
that's how it goes. You started here, now you're here,
Yeah.
and you're still working through it. That's just how it is.
Yeah, and I think if I went into like if I went into the Cascadia, that was like me as I was leaving. I think that one's like for me is probably like in terms of how I was like the work I was putting out there and like how crisp and clean and like clear it was and the level of creativity. I think that one hit like a note that was like that's probably why I'm a senior, is because of that project,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
if I had to point to something that's like kind of like your arrival moment, it's probably like one of that project is like where we were able to come from the last one, which I had worked on the last one. Like I had seen the evolution of the Cascadia from like the 16 and whatever to like the 17 and like the 15 to the 16 where they really changed it. Um, and then they asked me to come in and be like take it to the next level. And with all of these tools in place to like take it to the next level. And yeah, I think it was fun because like you can, it's still live. You can go look at the 19 right now, and you can look at the
Hmm.
reviews. You can look at everyone who's, believe in the run, all those people who like take it through the ringer. And, you know, it put Cascadia back on the map. Like the Cascadia had been just like a hiker, like not mentioned in the spheres of like elite trail running product. And just with a little ambition and a good PLM who was like, yo, Cascadia's getting dogged, I'm tired of this stuff, like let's get it. And I was like,
Hmm.
oh word, okay. Like, and they give you that kind of runway to just kind of go with it. And I think but like most product briefs are kind of like that, right? They're aspirational and you don't want to get beat, like. But
Yeah.
this one was at the point of like on life support where we're like that was at the
How do
point
we
of
fix
like
this?
they're like, we have to do something. Someone had like literally been on the internet and said like, I'm glad the Cascadia exists because it makes me happy that all the other trail views exist that are better than it. It's like, well, no, he's like, what did that guy say? He's like, I, I'm happy the Cascadia exists so I can be reminded
Mm.
of like why I love every other trail shoe more. And you're like, holy crap. Like, like
Like, come on here.
hard to receive worse feedback than that, hard to receive worse feedback. I mean, no doubt. That's rough.
Hmm.
But yeah, so and then you put a little Jake charm on it, and hopefully it hits the right people the right way, and you try telling a story. And yeah, I will not, and I'm again, it's more something I have to learn, and I've kept learning over the years, is how much like narrative plays into that.
Yeah.
Because I again, I'm an artist, man, and I just don't feel like everything has to have a story. But when you're in footwear and people ask you about like how you measure when you've hit your right aesthetic, it usually comes because you've infused a narrative into it. I don't, but I don't like to have a story. I feel like largely because it makes you accountable, to like
Hmm.
hit the story, and I don't want to have to be accountable. um, but that's my artist mind, where like I do things because I want to do things, because I'm reacting, but design is not like that way, right? It's not supposed to be reactionary. You're supposed to be driving at something. And sometimes you set that pole and you're driving to the pole, but like,
Yep.
I feel like artistry is so much more about, getting out raw emotion. However it comes out, it comes out. And that's just not design. And that's what I have a hard time with, because a lot of times I just want to do stuff because I want to do it.
Yep.
And yeah, you can't do that. You can, but
Just gotta trust the process.
yeah, you gotta get after it. Oh, dude, one last thing, because we're gonna end right at 140. We're gonna end it. I'm gonna share this one more time.
There you go.
I'm gonna hit back in the Ghost Max. People ask me all the time this one question, and I'm gonna, I'm gonna share it. Oh man, they try to hide it. They really try to hide it, but I think it shows up in this top one right here, man. You see this?
Yep.
See
The
this little
notch.
notch?
That
Now,
was unintended.
oh yeah. Now, COVID was a fun time because we were on our own, and we didn't have to like go in the office every day. Um, so people are always like getting after me. You got to change this, got to change this, got to change this. This has got to do this. This has got to do that. And you just like get to a point as like a designer where you just feel like I have no control.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one right here where I was like, I do have control. Like, and I just cut the rubber at the top. And I can't tell you how many times people like looked at me after the shoe. Like the shoe is like, and so luckily I had a developer who was like in it, he was like, oh, I'm going to get this through too. Like, we're going to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone would be like, why? Like, why? And I'm like, sometimes it's just because I hold the pen. Like,
So that's the Jake charm right there.
yeah, I was like, man, I threw that down. The other fun thing, I feel like I got to show this one offline, but I don't know. If anyone ever counts this, there's a hidden message in that as well. But no one's ever going to do that. But there's a hidden message. There's hidden messages in this shoe because, I don't know. I was only like 5 years in and I was angsty. So, there's stuff.
Dope.
But yeah, that notch, man. I'll just solve the problem or answer the riddle right now. It's like just because I got my just because in.
It needed it. That's why.
Yeah. All right, man. I don't know. That's my portfolio in a nutshell. No, you guys will not get the link. No, you will not get exclusive access. You saw what you saw. Take that to the bank, and just know that the rest of it's on my Instagram. It's like it's all there. So
yeah.
All right, that's the episode. And hey, you know what? We got a brush pack coming, and I'm gonna reel the crap out of it. So I hope you're ready. Hope you're ready for that. It's gonna be reels on reels. Like,
let's go.
Here's this. Here's this. And maybe I'll do like influencer talk. Here's my brush pack. And if you want to make a shoe look really good, get the TPD brush pack.
You must use the TPD brush pack.
Yeah. You really want the TPD brush pack.
Ooh, do you see that ripstop?
Oh, look at that ripstop. It's the only realistic ripstop on the market. TPD brush pack for your footwear needs. Anyway, all right. We're good.
Go.
You good? I'm good. All right.
That's it.
That's another episode. Tech Packs are due. Like and subscribe. Or don't. We got 500. We're doing good. We got 510 at the filming of this episode. So
tell your friends. Tell your mom. Mother's Day's coming. Tell your mom.
Yeah, I mean, get your relatives out here subscribing to this page, man. What are we doing? All right, we'll see you next time.